Hello and welcome back to Banner Builder, where this time we'll be creating Spring Heroes for March of 2019. Please note that these characters were decided on before the silhouettes were released earlier today, so don't expect them to line up with that. This banner will be called Rite of Spring, which is kind of somewhat coming from Book 2, and is just generally an idea for the plot of the paralogue, but I don't usually get into that, so I won't worry about it. In this banner, we're including characters from both Shadows of Valencia and Fire Emblem the Binding Blade. And with that, let's begin. Our first hero is Celica, Spring Princess. The long-hidden crown princess of Zofia, she left the island where she grew up in order to help protect the goddess Milla. Her weapon is the Spring Staff. First of all, it's a wrathful weapon, so it deals a regular amount of damage. Secondly, it allows her adjacent allies to heal HP equal to about 30% of the damage she dealt after she attacks. Her assist skill is Gift of Life, which acts as an upgrade to Rehabilitate. It heals slightly more damage than Rehabilitate Plus, though I couldn't find the exact numbers as to how much it heals. When she uses this skill, Celica also takes 6 damage, making this kind of a Fury skill for healers. She also has Miracle. I just felt like putting that there. Her A passive is Greater Attack 3, which is a new skill based on one of her Cipher abilities, and gives her even more attack power when her allies on the field outnumber the remaining opponents. This is calculated as an in-combat buff. And, of course, she has Live for Bounty. There always needs to be one unit wielding that skill in a Spring banner, and so I thought it made sense for Celica to have it, especially since Milla provides bounty to Zofia. Our next unit is Saber, Spring Mercenary. A mercenary hired by Celica to protect her on their way through pirate-infested waters, he ended up being one of the most powerful and loyal soldiers on her pilgrimage. Fun fact, he would be coming in as the first red unit on a Spring banner. I find it weird that we haven't had one as of yet, after 2, so I decided to change that this time. He comes with the Carrot Sword, the counterpart to the Carrot Lance and Axe that were brought in on earlier Spring banners. Like those weapons, it restores 4 HP after combat, initiated by its wielder. I based a lot of this build on regaining HP, so I included Soul as a special skill. His A-slot skill, Earth Boost, actually comes from Earth's Blessing, a skill on the Golden Dagger that Saber was given by Celica. His B-slot skill is new and called Reversal. It's based on a Cipher skill of his called Sorcery Reversal. It allows him to deal more damage if he's already been damaged during that combat. This means that he's great for doubling, since his second attack will hit harder than the first. Our first binding hero is Bartre, Spring Warrior. A mercenary who once served under Eliwood, he joined the fight again when he met Roy on the Western Isles. I built Bartre as an anti-mage bow, similar to Innis. His weapon is the Bunny Bow, which restores HP whenever he kills another unit. His special skill reflects how he was blessed with high resistance in this alt, and is therefore Iceberg. Because he focuses on killing his enemies in order to gain that little bit of HP back, I let him have Death Blow 4. Finally, Bartre has Live for Honor. He's a very honorable individual, and much like Live for Bounty, this just needed to be there on this banner. Bartre made the most sense to have it. Finally, we're introduced to Bartre's daughter, Fear, Spring Saint. A traveling mercenary, she aimed to be as great a swordsman as her uncle, who was renowned worldwide as the Sword Saint. However, since we already have a sword-wielding Fear in the game, as well as another sword wielder in this very banner, I instead gave her a red tome, which I called Hot Cross Buns. The tome is of course named after the traditional pastry of the same name. It's similar to the carrot weapons, but instead restores HP when Fear is a defending unit instead of the attacking one. Due to that change, I built her as a more defensive mage. Reposition is her assist skill, which is really just a placeholder in order to make her having a link skill more applicable. I did give her a new special though, Deflective Aura. It acts as a ranged version of Aegis, which for some reason is not available for ranged units. As mentioned earlier, she has a link skill, Attack Speed Link. I gave her that not because she's good at attack and speed, but because that's where she's weak, and this allows her to gain some of that back. Her C-slot skill is Even Res Wave, just to increase her defensive capabilities. To go along with those units, we also have a Forging Bonds event, which of course will be called Rite of Spring, and feature those 4 units. The story will be based around how the people of Asker celebrate the Spring Festival. Celica will converse mostly with Sharona. They'll discuss the differences between their nation's cultures, specifically regarding the Spring Festival. Saber will talk to Alphonse. Saber is slightly annoyed by the costume, but puts up with it because Celica asked. Alphonse will talk to him about how he was forced into a similar costume by Sharona the year before, referring back to Hares of the Fair. The two will eventually move on to discuss their relationships with Sharona and Celica, both of which are similarly protective older brother type relationships. Bartre and Anna will of course get along swimmingly, constantly trying to one-up each other in various contests centered around the festival and Easter traditions from around the world. Finally, Fear will speak with Alphonse, discussing being part of a legacy, and carrying on from those who came before. Alphonse from Gustave and Fear from Corel. This is especially applicable because by the time she's in this spring form, Fear has recently taken on the Sword Saint moniker from her uncle. And that's the end of this banner. So tell me, what did you think? Do you like these character choices? Could I have built any of them better? Feel free to tell me in the comments below. And, until next time, happy summoning.